going to do another very different sort of episode of folklore and culture. And there are certain things which I needed to share, and it has been long time that I could not upload the regular videos I used to. Though I was quite active on the social media, so those who were not following me on Facebook and Instagram, I'm sure you would have missed my videos. And I'm sure that in the coming few months I would be trying to be more regular. And yeah, so this video is going to be a sort of chit chat video, because I had so much more to share. And I think that this one to one personal sort of an episode is very much needed, so that you can understand that where am I coming from, and what is going inside my mind, what kind of videos I would be making next. So there are a few announcements as well. There are a few plannings which I needed to discuss with you all. So that is the reason why I have started this conversation like this, um, keeping it very casual. And I'm not going to bring about a lot of information, as in like any other video of mine has a lot of information about certain narratives about. We discuss various things about tribal life and subalternity, alternative history, all of that. So this episode is going to be personal. Yes, I'm going to share my experience at a conference which I recently attended at IIT Roper. And apart from that, I would be discussing my plans. So, yeah, let's begin. So, because I have already answered this question, that why am I making this video like this and how is it different, I'll move on to my next question, which I really needed to answer in this video, which is that what are my future plans. So, basically, with this channel, I'm planning that to take all the students, everyone who is an aspiring net candidate and want to go forward to be the part of academia, and they want to do folklore or any other subject probably, but they have started their journeys to plan their ways to academia. So you all know that to be part of academia, you have to have either completed your net, I mean successfully completed your net, or there are actually two ways in which either you are a net qualified person, or you have qualified as a JRF. So in any which ways, you will have to sit for net and qualify for it. So this is my next step, that I would be sitting for the UGC net. And I think I would like to take this journey forward with you all, so that I don't want to make this journey as lonesome it is, only studying and reflecting by oneself. I want to make it two-way. I want to include the perspectives, or certain aspects which I might have missed out. So I want you all to collaborate with me in the series which I'm going to do all of these things. So the plan is that I would be bringing out videos which would be speaking about how am I preparing for net. And that is I haven't started that journey yet, and I want to begin it with you all. And whatever be it, whether I would succeed or maybe I would not, there can be possibilities of both. But then I want this journey to be recorded, so that anyone who is attempting for net doesn't feel lonely in this journey. So study with me, and maybe we can discuss, we can make our notes together. And the videos would be made in such a way. I will be following the recent syllabus of UGC net, which is for June 2024. I would be also going through the question papers of the previous years and making the notes, and discussing everything while I study. And maybe you can also give your own inputs in this matter. Where am I lacking, or where you feel the more more time should be given. So anyways, I would be studying for both. The paper one means the common paper which is there, and the subject which you have. So I would be doing it for folk literature and not English literature. So sorry if it's not very helpful for people, those they are of different subjects. But because I am not very good with any other subject, though I have very much I'm interested in English literature, but this time I would be sitting for folk literature. So I would be recording my whole journey till June 2024, and this would be my next series. So now we jump on to the third part, or the third segment of today's video, which deals with the journey of the conference. Now, why I want to speak about this conference, because very important factors were discussed. Very important possibilities were, we all tried to explore during this conference, which was called Indian Folk Studies in Theory and Practice. So it was organized by, very well organized, I must say. It was very well organized by IIT Roper Humanities Department, and it was extremely well organized. I mean, from the, making all the arrangements for us all presenters, and even the guests were so I was so overwhelmed to get to speak to the guest, which is generally not possible in other conferences because of the breadth of it. Here we had, it was a symposium basically, so not a very huge sort of event it was, but it was very informative and useful event. And those they are really interested in folk literature, I'm sure that this would be a very good thing to know about it. Here the principal investigator was Dr. Divya Kusum Ray, and the co-principal investigators were Rakesh Kumar Pankaj and Pratik Kumar Mahant. Very warm people, and they are doing amazing field work and amazing work. They are working on this overarching project, which finds new perspectives of subaltern historiography. We all know that there is an alternate history, or there is an alternate lifestyle which is not present. I mean, we don't know about it. So they are basically concentrating on protecting and preserving the songs of Magahi language in Bihar. So this beautiful project they spoke about really instigated this feeling in me that they are doing a great job, and I also want to do something like that in future. Yeah. So again, coming back to this conference or symposium, we had the first speaker was Professor Nikhila H, and she was from IFLU. She's from IFLU, Hyderabad, and she basically spoke about the functions of the folk, and specifically she spoke about films and folklore. She analyzed certain folk characteristics or folk functions, which movies like Duvidha and movies like Paheli. Then there was not only in Hindi cinema, also cinema, also regional cinema like movie like Kotha Nodi, and Kannada movie like Sangya Balya, etc., and many other movies. She discussed and discussed that how the folk functions through the films, and how we perceive the folk through the films. It's there is a two-way thing, because on one hand, when we see that there is a folk song or folk motive used in a particular movie, that brings us to the notice that okay, this also exists, and somewhere it comes across as maybe something new, and brings about various discussions. So that is one good thing about it. Another thing which I was kind of curious about was how this is a way to appropriate folk motives in the movies, because sometimes the context or the concept of the folk is not placed in a correct way, and it is too much commercialized to go through and it goes through a process of commodification when it comes to the movies or the mainstream cinema. So I was a little, I was thinking about it, and I asked her this question, and she also said that in any ways, even if it is not getting the exact same flavor in the movie, somewhere it is propagating this fact that there is something like that, even if they are not referring directly to it. But then it brings us to the notice that this exists. Anyways, we move on to our next speaker. Next speaker was Professor Sanjay Kumar, and he was available online. He could not come. So he is from BHU and gave an extremely fascinating session. And he spoke about at the intersections of oral and written folk and vernacular traditions of India. And I remember that he started his speech from being being someone from Bihar and speaking Maithili. So he spoke about it, that how the language has affected his understanding of culture. And that was kind of very fascinating. Then he also spoke about the oral written continuum of Indian folklore and the beauty of folk classical continuum in India specifically, because in Western folklore things are a little different. Also, he spoke about Geet Gawai tradition of Bihar. So Geet Gawai is sort of songs, folk songs, which are sung during any kind of festival, or maybe childbirth, or maybe marriage songs. So these songs are now, are being at a loss, because a lot of people are now using Hindi Bollywood music, or maybe Punjabi music also, or you can say any kind of popular music that they hear in the media nowadays. They sing those songs nowadays. They have shifted from their original Geet Gawai tradition in India. So that was kind of very thought provoking for me. He also spoke about the traditions of Raso and Prithviraj Raso and Pandwani. Then he spoke about the overlaps and the cross regional intersections. So I think there are so many intersectionality, and this particular folklore as a whole is a subject which is multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary, and you cannot just stay within the boundaries of only one subject, and you tend to move out and in very fluidly. So that is something which has always been a very fascinating element of folklore for me. So the next speaker was Dr. Parichay Patra, but he actually spoke the next day. So on day one, then after the speakers spoke, the guest speakers, we were given a chance to present, and maybe what did I present, I'll speak about that later. But I'll just move on to the next day. The guest speakers again spoke, and I really wanted to bring this up so that the perspective is set. So day two, our first speaker was Dr. Parichay Patra. He works in IIT Jodhpur, and he was also present online. And he actually started his session with various nitty-gritties, and how this folklore comes in contact with the films, and how how it propagates itself through the medium of filmmaking or cinema. That he brought into the light, and specifically he showed us certain clips of movies. Specifically, which I was very very fascinated about, was the movie Bariwali. So Bariwali was a movie, I think, directed by Ritu Porno Ghosh. It's a Bengali movie, and the representation of a lady who is all alone. So she used to live in this huge, old house, big house, you can say, and she lives in there alone with two of her servants. And the feeling of loneliness, the feeling of displacement, the feeling of hopelessness, or sometimes revival of hope when a new person comes in her life. So that was really fascinating to me, and how the director has included certain nuanced music to form idea of folklore around the whole thing. So Mangal Kavyas, or Palgan tradition, was featured in this movie, and there was Palgan in the places where there was sad, the backdrop was sad, the music was also sad, and it brought about the story story of Manusha Devi and Behula Lokhinder. So that was a very interesting session, because that brought about this idea, this perspective, that how movies do propagate folklore. And you can say that Nikhila ma'am's um, talk was kind of a prelude to this, and that sort of gave us a very good way to understand the whole thing, though they are not film students like me. So moving um, moving towards the next guest. So our next guest was very special. He was not from academia, but he spoke about something which really is very relevant in today's times, as well as for us to research on the fact. So he was national award. He's a national award recipient, filmmaker Nitin Chandra, and he put his perspectives. He had been actually making Bhojpuri films and have been awarded with the national award. Because of his contribution in the Bhojpuri films. So today, what kind of representations of the language of Bhojpuri, or even the culture of Bihar, which has been propagated through the mainstream media or the cinema, has been very different, or you can say derogatory to a part. So he portrayed his movie clips, which made us understand that what is the thing which is missing in the mainstream media, and why this representation has to have a very important role in today's media, because the actual culture or the actual people or the actual language which Bhojpuri or Magahi or Maithili, all of that, the culture of Bihar is not the culture which we see in the mainstream movies and even in the Bhojpuri movies and songs. So he presented a very different picture and made us understand that because mainstream movies, or because Bhojpuri has not gained that important space in our you know as a language, it is not given much importance. That is why so many people from Bihar are losing out on their language, leaving their cultural identity, and the representation obviously is of the mainstream, people, those they are trying to somewhere in this competition speak or behave or emote in a way that is more cosmopolitan. They are trying hard to fit in, but then losing out on their real collective identity. That is something that was really painful to hear. And I think he's doing great work in his own field, and if you want to check out his work, just Google him, or you can also check YouTube for his work. You will certainly get a very different perspective of Bhojpuri cinema. And the most favorite of what you call favorite tests, I don't know how many more superlatives would I add for her, but she is really special, and I loved her sessions and her comments throughout the 2 days which we spent over there. So she is Dr. Natasha Thodam, and she's also from IIT Jodhpur, and she gave an amazing talk on the praxis of Methi folk studies, and she spoke about these beautiful traditions of Hungawari and Wari Liba and Larik Taba storytelling tradition. So Hungawari is kind of stories which are told by the grandmother across the fire. So according to Meitei community, this fireplace is a holy place, and when you are speaking about the stories to the children, being a grandmother or grandfather around this fire, and this is not only the stories are not only of didactic nature, but also they are representative of their past, their culture. So Meitei folklore is not much known, and that was highlight for me for the whole session. And I learned a lot from this, and probably I would study more about it, and maybe speak about it later on some of my videos or posts. Also, she spoke about the Meitei script. So Meitei script also had a lot of transitions. Like Nitin Chandra sir said about Bhojpuri being a language which is getting, we are losing out on the language. Natasha ma'am told about Methi community and their script. Now the script have first it was losing out, and then how it got renewal, and how the whole change happened, and they came across their own culture, their roots and traditions. They acquired that again. And still, I think there is a sort of politics which is going on. When we are speaking about Methi community in Manipur, it's trans boundaries. This feeling is trans. So it's not only confined in the land of Manipur, or not only Methi community live in Manipur. There are other communities as well. But this is very important to understand, that no geographical, no political boundaries can elaborate the culture. Yes, it manifests that, or generalizes, you can say that this particular area, this kind of culture is there, or this kind of language or script is used, but then it doesn't define the whole community as a whole. And I feel that Meitei community is trying to survive, trying to protect and preserve their own culture, and a lot of efforts are being done on that direction. But still, there is a sort of politics which is difficult to, articulate, or you can say that there are so many layers of politics which are there in understanding Meitei community's perspective. So we got to know that, and I'm really, really, thankful that and grateful that I sort of got this opportunity to be selected as one of the presenters. And yeah, I think this is all I can say about the conference as of now. And so anything at all, I think this was a very gentle, very casual chit chat. So in case if you feel that I should do this kind of chat more, I would be trying to do this. I don't know how many chat videos I can make, but then yeah, I'm planning to do more study sessions, so that the people, those that are aspiring to qualify net, they would feel that there is a need for that. Actually, I'm not going to teach anything because I am in the process of learning, and I'm just going to use this medium as a way to not only study and help others, but also it's sort of very kind of personal study method I would be sharing, that how am I studying, and probably if I end up not qualifying, there would be a list of things to understand that what are the things I did wrong. So I think that also would be a sort of learning for me, as well as those they would be there with me in this whole journey. Yeah, I think that is a lot I have shared. Is there anything else? Let me think. No, I think we are done, and my coffee is already cold. So I'll just go and heat up my coffee and find out that what is going to be my first video of the new series of folklore and culture. Do stay tuned to see a very quick snapshots of the whole journey to IIT Roper. I'm sure that you will enjoy the clips. So let me know how do you feel about this video, and anything at all. If you want to, share, comment section is there. And do follow me on my social media as well, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, because sometimes certain posts I do not post it here in YouTube. So those are my primary accounts. So kindly follow me there as well, so that you can get more information about folklore and about my passion about folklore. So yeah, all right, bye.